Shabbat shalom, everybody. It's funny you should say that. Look who's here. It's Quinn. Can I tell you a story about Quinn? Hi, Quinn. So, do you remember Quinn? Quinn was here, and then they moved away. And so when Mom said, hey, Quinn, what do you want to do for your birthday? Quinn said, I want to be with my friends in Shreveport. So guess where he is for this birthday? I'm glad you're here, Quinn. I'm going to need your help. Today? The B'nai Mitzvah. That's true. That's very cool. Well, so what I was going to say was that I don't know if you've noticed this. I shouldn't say that. We have guests here. And I hope you realize that this is a joke. But sometimes Jews have a reputation for complaining. I just got here, he complained. Other people complained. It's a joke. It's a little bit of a joke, except it's also not. Today's Torah portion shows that we have a very long, proud history of complaining. And I'm going to tell you a little story about complaining that I thought is very sweet that's in the Talmud that says that God actually appreciates complaining, arguing. We'll call it arguing. God appreciates arguing because otherwise life is really boring, you know? And sometimes, often, when we argue with God, often we win and God doesn't win. So if you've been a parent or if you've ever tried to train someone to do something, and so they were kind of your, we'll call it underling or something, you'll know that sometimes it's the best way of learning. Sometimes, if they challenge you and you can make them feel like, hey, you know what? You're right. It feels really good for them. And you knew you accomplished something then also. So there's this lovely little story that is appropriate, especially today, because when we begin Shabbat tonight, we not only begin Shabbat, but we also begin Rosh Chodesh. So Rosh Chodesh is the new month. And so I thought when I started off and was ready to teach about this today, I thought I was going to say, so if we could have looked up in the sky, if there were no clouds, we would have seen a new moon. But guess what? We're going to see a new moon, I think, tonight. If you look up in the sky, you will see a teeny tiny sliver of the very beginning of a new moon. And every time you see that teeny tiny sliver of the new moon, it means we have come to a new month. And so this month is called Tammuz, and Tammuz is kind of the summertime month. And so Shabbat and Sunday is the beginning of the month of Tammuz, and there will be a quiz later, because we're going to ask you this. We're going to need that information. It's not really a quiz. You got an A already. You showed up. This is good. But there's a story about the moon, and how, if you recall, in the first creation story, God creates the light-giving forces, and it's the sun and the moon, and puts both of them up there. But it seemed inappropriate to have both the sun and the moon be just as powerful as each other. And the moon kind of complained and says, hey, this isn't fair, because we're just as powerful as the other one, and there's no distinction. And God said, you're right. Would you do me a favor? Would you show me that you're the bigger one by becoming the smaller one? And the moon said, if God is going to ask me to, okay, I'll do that. And so there was a way of arguing and there was a way of receiving. After a while in the Talmud, the moon wasn't happy by being the smaller one and went back and argued with God again and said, this wasn't fair, because I told you that it seemed inappropriate for two powerful light sources to be equal, and you asked me to reduce myself, and now I'm smaller. People don't respect me the same way, so this doesn't seem fair. And God said, you're right. I'll tell you what, to compensate for the fact that I asked you to get smaller, and you did get smaller, the sun can only be seen in the daytime, but the moon can be seen at night, and often the moon can also be seen during the day. Have you ever seen the moon in the day? And that's why. Because the moon argued with God, and God was having fun with us and said, hey. Anyway, that's a little story to start off with today, to think about what it means to argue. And then before I get farther, I also want to say, because I missed you last week, by the way, but thank you for, I didn't go anywhere. People kept saying, where were you going? I didn't go anywhere. Helene said, I have a sermon for this week. You look like you need a break. What if I do the sermon? I'm like, no, I like being here. She said, please. And I said, yes. So for Helene's sake, I took a break. And I want to thank you for that. But a few weeks ago, I said that in the story of us becoming free, all of a sudden we start complaining. I'm hungry, you know. So we were slaves, and as soon as we become free, we start, I'm hungry. But you know what? When we were slaves, if somebody complained about being hungry, it did not go well for slaves to complain. But now that we were free, I'm hungry. And guess what? We got fed. And then we said, I'm thirsty. And guess what? It went really well for us because we got something to drink. So it's not about complaining. It's about stating that something was needed and we got that. So that was true. This week's Torah portion really is about complaining. So we'll talk about maybe that a little bit. I really don't want to talk about that until tomorrow, but just a little bit. And I wanted to tell you that cute story about the moon because it's Rosh Chodesh and we're going to be looking for the sliver of the moon. But today, we get to call upon who, you know, in Shabbat during the summer, we don't necessarily pick on anybody individually. We sometimes just, everybody gets honored. So I want you to acknowledge this as an honor. I would like you to help bless the candles and the Kiddush sanctification. I would like to ask all of you to help me tonight. We're turning to page 82. Please rise. Because if we were home and lighting candles and saying the Kiddush, we would all stand for that too, if it's comfortable. So please read with me. These lights are only flickering flames, yet flames illumine our uncertain steps. Flames remind us of Sabbaths long past and of their beauty that delighted our hearts. May they inspire us to work for the great Sabbath of peace. And I'm going to, I'll tell you what, let's read it in English first, and then we'll sing it in Hebrew. We read together. We praise you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe. You hallow us with your mitzvot and command us to kindle the Sabbath lights. And so I'm going to help. We have guests here who have never been to services. Mitzvot are commandments. We have 613 commandments. And so it says that we become holy because God gave us commandments. And one of them is about lighting the Shabbat candles. And we sing that in Hebrew. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. You cover your eyes so that when you open them, you see Shabbat candles. They're beautiful. Open your eyes. They're beautiful. And then we raise the cup. We turn to page, I am going to do this in Hebrew, page 165 in Hebrew. If you're looking for the translation, it's on 166. You're welcome to join me however you want to do that. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei puri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'v'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit כי הוא יום תחילה למקרא קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת l'chaim. I was thirsty. You may say Shabbat Shalom, and you may sit down. If you say Shabbat Shalom to someone you came in with, someone you didn't come in with, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Peaceful Sabbath, Shabbat Shalom. Peaceful. And then we continue on page 83 at the bottom, and we read responsively. There are days when we seek material things and measure failure by what we do not own. On Shabbat, we wish not to acquire, but to share. There are days when we exploit nature with reckless greed. On Shabbat, we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation. There are days when we think only of ourselves. On Shabbat, we open our hearts to the needs of others. Therefore, we welcome Shabbat, day of rest, day of joy, day of peace. We welcome the angels that accompany us on Shabbat. Page 84. Shalom Aleichem Malachei Hasharet Malachei Elyon Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Boachem L'Shalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Baruchuni L'Shalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu צאתכם לשלום מלאכי השלום מלאכי עליון מי מלך מלאכי המלאכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. The synagogue is the sanctuary of Israel. Born of our longing for the living God, it has been to Israel throughout our wanderings a visible token of the presence of God in our people's midst. Its beauty is the beauty of holiness. Steadfast it has stood as the champion of justice, mercy, and peace. Its truths are true for all people. Its love is a love for all people. Its God is the God of all people. As it has been said, my house shall be called a house of prayer for all peoples. Let all the family of Israel, all who hunger for righteousness, all who seek the eternal, find God here, and here find life. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, be'alma divrei chirutei, v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon, uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, Ba'agala, ba'agala, uvizman kariv, vimiru, amen. Yeheshme Rabba mevarach, le'alam ul'alme almaya, yitbarach, yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitpahar, v'yitramam, v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar, v'yitalev, v'yitalal, shemeh dekudisha, brichu, le'lamin kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma, v'imiru, amen, barechu. et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Oh God, how can we know you? Where can we find you? You are as close to us as breathing, yet you are farther than the farthermost star. You are as mysterious as the vast solitudes of night, yet as familiar to us as the light of the sun. To Moses you said, "You cannot see my face, but I will make all my goodness pass before you." Even so does your goodness pass before us in the realm of nature and in the joys and sorrows of life. When justice burns within us like a flaming fire, when love evokes willing sacrifice from us, when to the last full measure of selfless devotion we demonstrate our belief in the ultimate triumph of truth and righteousness, then your goodness enters our lives and we can begin to change the world. And then you live within our hearts, and we, through righteousness, behold your presence. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem, Kevod Malachuto, Le'olam Va'ed. You may be seated. And I am sorry to interrupt the service again, but this is kind of cool. I just got a text from one of our campers who went to Kutz Camp, which is the national camp for the teens out in Warwick, New York. And she sent me a text this week that said, Rabbi, did you know that the Shema is a haiku? I said, yeah, I knew that. I said, count the syllables. There's special meanings in the letters, and then check out the priestly blessing too while you're at it. This is so cool. Anyway, it is pretty cool. That we just did. Now we continue with Deuteronomy 6:5 in the middle of page 88. I'm going to chant it, but the English translation follows. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. You shall love your eternal God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your being. Set these words which I command you this day upon your heart. Teach them faithfully to your children. Speak of them in your home and on your way, when you lie down and when you rise up. Bind them as a sign upon your hand. Let them be symbols before your eyes. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Be mindful of all my mitzvot and do them. So shall you consecrate yourselves to your God. I am your eternal God, who led you out of Egypt to be your God. I am your eternal God. I, the Eternal One, have called you to righteousness and taken you by the hand and kept you. I have made you a covenant people, a light to the nations. We are Israel, witness to the covenant between God and God's children. This is the covenant I make with Israel. I will place my Torah in your midst and write it upon your hearts. I will be your God, and you shall be my people. We are Israel. Our Torah forbids the worship of race or nation, possessions or power. You who worship gods that cannot save you, hear the words of the Eternal One. I am God, there is none else. We are Israel. Our prophets proclaimed an exalted vision for the world. Hate evil and love what is good. Let justice well up as waters and righteousness as a mighty stream. We are Israel, schooled in the suffering of the oppressed. You shall not oppress your neighbors nor rob them. You shall not stand idle while your neighbor bleeds. We are Israel, taught to beat swords into plowshares, commanded to pursue peace. Violence shall no longer be heard in your land, desolation and destruction within your borders. All your children will be taught of your God, and great shall be the peace of your children. We are Israel, O God, when we are witnesses to your love and messengers of your truth. You are my witnesses, says the Eternal One, and my servant whom I have chosen. Know me, therefore, and put your trust in me. We are Israel, O God, when we proclaim you God our Redeemer, as did our ancestors on the shores of the Red Sea. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar ba'kodesh. Nora tehilot osefela, nora tehilot osefela. In their escape from the sea, your children saw your sovereign might displayed. This is my God, they cried. The Eternal will reign forever and ever. V'ne'emar, and it has been said, the Eternal One delivered Jacob and redeemed us from the hand of one stronger than ourselves. Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. We praise you, O God, Redeemer of Israel. May we lie down this night in peace and rise up to life renewed. O God, spread over us your shelter of peace, of quiet and calm, and bless us with rest. And let a time come when morning will bring no word of war or famine or anguish, a time of happiness, of contentment and rest. Baruch atah Adonai, haporeh sukat shalom, aleinu va'al kol amo Yisrael va'al Yerushalayim. We give thanks for the night and its rest, and the promise of peace for all the world. Vishameru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית העולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית העולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית העולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית העולם. Please rise with tefillah, which begins on page 93. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Eternal God, open my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avroheinu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibur V'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'koneh HaKol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, U'mevii Geula Livnei V'neihem, L'ma'an Shmo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ve'ezrat Sarah. We continue in the middle of page 94. God of all generations, of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, of Sarah, Rebekah, Leah, and Rachel, be praised. Your wondrous creative power fills heaven and earth. God of life and death, be praised. Through us, send help to the falling, healing to the sick, freedom to the captive. Confirm your faithfulness to those who sleep in the dust. Awesome and holy God, be praised. With acts of love and truth we hallow your name. As it is said, be holy, for I, your eternal God, am holy. God of times and seasons, be praised. Enable us through Sabbath rest to explore and learn and impart the meanings of your Torah. Make our hearts ready to serve you this day and all days. You may be seated. God who answers prayer, be praised. May we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer. Wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands, you are our God. Source of life and its wonders, be praised. You are the miracle within all we behold. Your goodness, your compassion, we give thanks to you forever. Please join me in the next paragraph in English. God of peace, of justice, and of love, be praised. Inspire us to banish forever hatred, war, and bloodshed. Help us to establish forever one human family united in peace. God of peace, bless us with peace. We take a moment for silent prayer. The words that are in our hearts, or what's at the bottom of page 96. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, O God, my rock and my redeemer. I told you there was going to be a quiz. This is where it pops up. We turn to page 162, and you're going to have to remember what days I told you the new month of Tammuz started on. It's okay, I'll give you a hint. Except the hint's going to be in Hebrew, so it could be a problem. So when we take a moment to say a blessing about a new month, it is a glorious time. We sit, we think, we reflect. I love this because we don't always sit and ask God for stuff. And this is one time during the month where we sit and we ask God for glorious stuff. So we say, Yehi ratzon milfanecha Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu. Our God and God of our ancestors, The new month bring us renewed good and blessing. May we have long life, peace, prosperity, and health, a life full of blessing, a life exalted by love of Torah and reverence for the divine, a life in which the longings of our hearts are fulfilled for good. Mishasa nisim lavotenu limotenu. Wondrous God, in ancient days you led our people from bondage to freedom. Redeem us now out of our exile from one another, making all Israel one united people. Rosh Chodesh Tammuz Hayom Umachar. The new month of Tammuz begins today and Sunday. Today meaning Shabbat and Sunday. That's what you were supposed to say. Let's try it again. The new month of Tammuz begins today and Sunday. We continue together. God of holiness, let the new month bring for us and for the whole house of Israel life and peace, happiness and joy, deliverance and comfort. And let us say, Amen. We now turn our prayer books to the inside back cover as we turn our hearts and our prayers to those who are ill or recuperating. And I turn off my microphone for this part. If you have other names that you'd like us to add to our prayers, I invite you to call them out. For all these names, for the names we choose to hold in our hearts and not say out loud, we pray together. Oh God, in our hearts we name those who are facing illness and pain. We join our prayers with the prayers of all who love them. Give them renewed comfort and courage. Strengthen in them the healing powers you have placed within us all. Guide the hands and hearts of those who are entrusted with their care. May the knowledge of your love and ours give added hope to them and to their dear ones. May they find even greater strength because our prayers are linked to theirs. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofeh HaCholim. We praise you, eternal God, the source of healing and health. Mi sheberach avotenu mikor habracha lehimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mikor habracha lehavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. And it's become our tradition to add Misheberach avotenu v'imotenu. May the one who blessed and protected our ancestors guard all those whom we have entrusted with the responsibility of defending our freedom and protecting us in this country in the land of Israel and everywhere they've been called to serve. May they return home safely. And let us say, Amen. All right, I talked about complaining. I really don't want to talk about complaining anymore. We'll do it tomorrow, unless anybody wants to complain right now. We could do it anytime you want. I'm always up for a fight. Actually, I have a cute story about complaining that I can share with you, but you'll have to really twist my arm to tell us. You may guess who this was, but I had a guy come to me who invited me and his wife out to dinner at a fancy restaurant in town. It was Ernest's. And I don't usually go to Ernest's because I don't know that there's anything I could eat there. And I said that before I went, but Ernest is really good about making sure that he'll make something that I can eat because I keep kosher. And we went, and I thought it was just, a nice opportunity to talk. And this guy looks at me from across the table, and he says, I really needed to talk to you about something. I said, what? And he said, why do Jews complain so much? And I thought he was joking, but he was serious. He thought I was going to be able to answer him about that. I don't know. Because we can. I think that's what it is. That's what we learn from our Torah portions. We will talk about tomorrow about why you shouldn't, because the earth opens up and swallows you up. That's not a good version, but we'll talk about that tomorrow. But today I wanted to talk to you about something else. I am going to plain dealing tomorrow. Has anybody been to plain dealing? Okay, good. So I am going to plain dealing tomorrow. There's a little church. There's a book club, and they asked me to speak. And you know that I don't usually do these things on Shabbat. But they asked me so kindly, and they always get me because they said that there's going to be a rabbi and a priest and a minister there. And that always gets me when they say those things. But then they couldn't find a priest that could come tomorrow. So if you know Kim Long, there's going to be a minister and a Catholic and me. But they asked me to speak about, they asked us each of us are supposed to speak about a book that has changed our lives in some ways. And it doesn't have to be a religious book. And I thought I would give you a little glimpse of what I was going to talk about because I think it's an interesting question. I am told that the Presbyterian minister is going to talk about E.T. I'm not sure what that has to do with a book, and I'm very curious to find out what it's going to be. But when I was in grad school, I read a book by Thomas Kuhn called The Structure of Scientific Revolution. I was a philosophy major, as you may know. I actually have a degree in philosophy, and it still surprises me, but I do. And this was one of the classes that I took about the philosophy of science. And it was a fascinating story. It talks about, essentially, paradigm shifts. And so imagine that you believe that the earth is flat. And everything in your life is, believes that the earth is flat. If I go for a walk, I think I'm walking on a flat land. And if I went to the end of the waters, I would fall off. And I believed that. And we all did. Every once in a while, there would be anomalies, like, well, how come that star is doing this? And you'd say, and you'd explain it. You'd come up with some kind of a way to explain it in your flat world theory. So then there's usually someone who comes along who is usually not very indoctrinated into that paradigm, and they come up with another theory that makes everything make sense, the anomalies and the other parts. And so in this case, as you know, it was, well, the world is round. Or what are we? Oblong? What did you say? Oh, you're still flat. Okay, so Dr. David is still thinking that the world is flat, and this is a perfect example then, because what happens then is that someone who still believes that the earth is flat has a very difficult time truly communicating with someone who thinks that the world is round. That the words you're using kind of mean different things when you're even using the same meanings, and the way you're seeing life is very different, and the way they described it, it was kind of like one of those optical illusions, like you either see the pretty woman or you see the duck. And it's the same exact picture. But if you look at it and you squint your eyes up like this, it's a pretty woman. And if you look at it and you squint your eyes up like this, it takes a long time to see the duck. And then you see the duck, but you can't see the woman while you see the duck. And then you squint, and then you could see, maybe you could see them both, but you can't see them at the same time. And that really impressed me. First of all, it was very impressive about how it described the history of scientific revolutions. And that was pretty cool to me. But for me, it was more about the fact that when I speak to someone from a different faith base, someone who has a different belief system than I do, and it could be as simple as, people from a conservative congregation or Orthodox. We talked about that, and today I pointed out in my email that on Rosh Chodesh, there are women in Jerusalem who want to go pray. Rosh Chodesh, the new moon and the new month in Jewish tradition, has become traditionally a special holiday for women. And women especially are supposed to not work and celebrate on Rosh Chodesh. Every month we're given a special day. And so the women in Jerusalem try to take this holy day, and they go to the Kotel, to the Western Wall. And they take their talises, if that's what they wear, and they take their Torah, and they want to pray at the wall, and they want to read from Torah, because that's what you do for Rosh Chodesh. It's one of the holy days when you read Torah. And they get arrested for doing that. They get arrested for putting on a talit. They get arrested for carrying a Torah. You have probably seen the pictures of Orthodox men trying to rip that Torah out of their arms. Torah out of their arms. That's a paradigm problem. And they're not going to speak the same. They're not going to be able to even communicate when I say, this is a talit. God commanded that we're supposed to wear these things, and they have these things on the end, and we're commanded to wear them. And they'll say, no, you aren't. And we'll say, yes, we are. And they won't be able to hear each other. And so that's a radical kind of a problem, but there are other kinds of problems. Sometimes, as you know, most of the students that I teach when I teach adult students are not Jewish. And so when I go to a class of people who are not Jewish, they'll ask me questions, and I will answer them. And they will say things like, how do Jews feel about sacrifices? Well, how do you feel about sacrifices? I never get to ask. I always have to answer on the spot without having any Jews around to help me answer these things. But we haven't thought of sacrifices for over 2,000 years. We don't think about them very much at all, thank you very much. Because we think that, I can go through a whole explanation of, we've outgrown them. The temple has been destroyed. We can't do them anymore. And frankly, I'm grateful that I don't have to do them anymore. I wouldn't want to ever have to do that. It is hard for me to believe that God really likes, I get it that the barbecue smell is really a good thing to smell, but that my treating everyone in a wonderful way, taking care of the world, I still think God appreciates more than that barbecue smell. But every once in a while I'll throw it, no, I'm just kidding. We won't throw barbecue in, we won't do that at all. But the point is, it's a paradigm shift. And when I said an answer about sacrifice, that's not the question they were asking at all. And I didn't know, because we were talking the same words, but it meant two different things. So one of the things that I learned, and I think that this applies for if you are complaining, or if you are requesting, I'm hungry, even if it's not a complaint, or arguing. One of the most important things that I learned because of this is to listen really, really well, and to ask questions to try to find out what it is that the other person is really saying. What are they really saying? Before I do anything, I should really try to listen and see where they're coming from. Try to hear people from their side, from their perspective. And if they are talking as if the world is flat, like when we talked to Dr. David, if the world is flat, I've got to try how to hear them in that way, know what I want to tell them, and see if there's any way for me to explain it to them. It isn't easy. And it really surprises me, because my doctoral degree, I wasn't so proud about my master's in philosophy, because it still surprises me that I have one, but my doctoral degree is in linguistics. And I believe that we're supposed to be able to communicate with each other. I believe it's one of the most glorious things that we do. I believe it is the most important thing. It's what gives meaning to this life, is to be able to talk to each other and communicate in ways that we make the world a better place. I believe that with every fiber in me. I believe that. And so we've got to figure out how to get past those paradigm shifts. And it really helped me to know and to see this in another way about how difficult it is sometimes for people to understand each other and why. So that's what I give you about arguing, and I'm going to talk about a little bit about that or something like that tomorrow in plain dealing. If you want to know, I can tell you where the church is and whatnot, and you can figure out if you want, we can come. But that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. So on that note, let's see if the vice president, if Mr. John Black can tell us things in a way that we can understand him and that we get what he's saying. And I hope so, because I think I wrote these. So I wrote them down in a way that I hope makes sense.
The Fountainhead for me.
Yeah, that
That's
was one.
the book
See?
that changed my life.
We need to do one of
Yes.
these book series things, don't you?
It changed my life in many ways. But
Yeah.
That's another conversation.
Yeah, cool.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank
Shalom.
you to everyone for blessing the
That's right.
candles and the Kiddush. Rabbi Jana, Helene, Bethany, and Barbara Joseph will be attending the ISJL Educator Conference from Sunday to Tuesday. Rabbi Jana will also head to Jacob's Camp and have lunch with the first session with the first campers from their first session. Wednesday from 2 to 3, Rabbi Jana will lead a discussion about ethical dilemmas and Jewish answers. This will be in the Tower, the Oaks, and the Ballroom. Please join us. You do not have to be a resident to attend. Next Saturday, July 1st, we will have a Kiddush
Kiddush
Shabbat from 9 to 9:30. This will be a fun Shabbat experience for children of all ages and will be led by Rabbi Jana. This is important. B'nai Zion Teen Youth Group Shifty is hosting the Regional Fall Conclave, November 10th to 12th. We need people. It seems like a long way away, but
Yeah.
we all know things go fast. We need people to drive children, cook for kids, house kids, etc. The youth group needs to know how we can help and as soon as possible so they can make plans for that weekend. Their questionnaire can be found at the B'nai Zion website on the forms page, or there is a printed version in the current bulletin. If you do the printed version, please add your name to the form. Donations tonight were made in loving memory of Henry Clark, Fritz Glazer, and Jay Glazer by Harriet Glazer, in loving memory of Woodrow Levin by Lennon Bear Rambach, in loving memory of Louis Lobel by Dorothy and Bernard Lobel, and in loving memory of Maurice Scheinberg by Mimi Miriam.
Thank you. So, at this point in our service, everybody's turning to page 148, and I need Quinn to come up and help me open the ark. Would you help? Thank you, sir. I have a few things I need you to do today to honor you, and this is one of them. Come on up. We're going to turn to page 148, and Quinn is going to help me open the ark. Come on up, bud. So how old are you going to be on your birthday? 5. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I remember when he was 3 and we cut his hair. Please rise as we open the ark. Come on, Mom. Help me open the ark now. You're tall enough to do this. Pull. Isn't that cool? Every time I see the Torahs in the ark, I go, oh, don't you? Mm-hmm. And look what we have down here. You remember this? The smiling ones. You can hug one if you want while we're doing this. You want to hug one? Yeah. Okay, good. Now help me with this. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, latet gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kigoye haratzot, v'lo samanu kemishpachat ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu v'kol ha'onam, v'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, Lifnei melech malachei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. When we close all of the ark doors, get that one, please, and then get the big ones. You may be seated when all of the ark doors are closed. Push. Thank you. I know, you got to be careful of your fingers. Good call. All right, good. You may be seated. Good job. Thanks. I'm going to need you a little later too, okay, sir? Thank you. We continue on page 150. The day will come when all shall turn with trust to you, O God, hearkening to your voice, bearing witness to your truth. Please join me. We pray with all our hearts, let violence be gone. Let the day come soon when evil shall give way to goodness, when war shall be forgotten, and all at last live in freedom. O source of life, may we, created in your image, embrace one another in friendship and in joy. Then shall we be one family, and then shall your sovereignty be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. The eternal God will reign forever and ever. On that day, O God, you shall be one, and your name shall be one. Bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo, u'shemo, tickle in my throat. Excuse me. Thanks, Quinn. He's clearing his throat for me. I am, it should be back. I'm sad to tell you that we have lost more than 13 military in the line of duty this year. And I know that we've lost, a few in June. I have contacted the people who keep the website running, and they had not yet updated it, and they thanked me for reminding them. But we didn't have any of the sailors from that crash, and we're missing at least 2 others from this month. So hopefully, I'm sad to say, I told them how important it is to us to honor them. But we have also lost 63 police officers in the line of duty this year, including 8 in June. And we've also lost 50 firefighters this year, with 4 in June. And I pray that we are always honoring these people who run into danger for us, and we remember them, and we hope that their families are consoled. We're always grateful. We continue on page 151. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, let us meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. And you know, I like the one on page 152. I like what it teaches us. When cherished ties are broken and the chain of love is shattered, only trust and the strength of faith can lighten the heaviness of the heart. At times, the pain of separation seems more than we can bear, but love and understanding can help us pass through the darkness toward the light. Out of affliction, the psalmist learned the law of God. And in truth, grief is a great teacher when it sends us back to serve and bless the living. We learn how to counsel and comfort those who, like ourselves, are bowed with sorrow. We learn when to keep silence in their presence and when a word will assure them of our love and concern. Thus, even when they're gone, the departed are with us, moving us to live as in their higher moments they themselves wished to live. We remember them now. They live in our hearts. They are an abiding blessing. However brief may be our time on earth, O God, you endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. We now recall the loved ones whom death has taken from us in the past, at this time in seasons. I tried to do this. We have not lost anyone in the last 30 days. Has anyone lost an immediate relative in the last 30 days? As we remember those who died at this season in years past, we take them into our hearts with our own. Those for whom we are observing the Yortzeit, the anniversary of their death, include Warner E. Berg, Kurt Braun, Henry Clark, Dora W. Fain, Fritz Glazer, Gregory Glover, Dick Guggenheim, Ansel Harris, Lee Hertzberg Jr., Rosa Sauer Katzenstein, Louis E. Kern, Ruth Vedlitz Krause, Thomas Langford, Leah Lebo, Woody Levin, Milton Levine, Etta Levy, Louis Lobel, Morris Rubin, Maurice Scheinberg, Vernon Wesley Sinclair, Sig Spitzer, Joseph Paul Stewart, Donald Paul Weiss, Sandra Baron Weiner, and Friedler J. Zuzak. In this moment of memory, our griefs and sympathies are mingled. Loving God, we rise as we together praise God's name. The mourner's Kaddish, which is just a way of praising God, is found on page 154. The translation is on 155. We read together, Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayachon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach la'alam u'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei d'kudsha barichu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. We say amen. And you may be seated except Quinn. I need Quinn's help for this. I'm not sure what's under here. Do you know what's under here? What do you think's under here? Yes, you do know. You sure you don't know? Come here, let's stand in front of the flowers. Let's check it out. I'm going to sit. I'm going to put this here because I bet you know. Ready? Take it off. Take off the cover. What's under there? Challah. Come here. Come here. I need you to help me to bless the challah. Come here. Would you help me? Come here. Stand over here and hold on. Stand over here. Ready? Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz v'te'avon. You get to take that? Take a piece? No, this is just the food. Take it. Take the whole thing. The whole thing. It's all yours. Take it back to your family. Go. Ready, go. And happy birthday, Quinn. Oh, sorry. I lost the thing. My magic carpet. No, my magic cover. Putting him on the spot again. Well, I can't argue with the fact that it is a blessing to be here with you all. I am so glad that you came. Make sure you say hi to people you didn't know, because I see some people here that you didn't know. And join us for Oneg Shabbat for joyous refreshments. Please rise for the closing benediction. I'm all better. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you. May God protect you. Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May the light of God's face shine upon you, be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God's face be lifted up to you. May God grant you peace. Shabbat shalom. Bim bum bim 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 bum bim 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 bum chiri biri biri bim bum.